Why does this one deserve to be better known?
I think because of the beautiful melody and the message. God is a God. He don't never change, or he doesn't change. The significance of that meaning that this is a God who is constant, is reliable, doesn't change character and personality with the weather, with the wind, based on the day, based on emotions or personal events or whatever's going on in a person's life. And that's the kind of dependability, particularly the enslaved community would want in a deity who they depended on for deliverance and sustenance and for protection, to help them get through the day, to help for deliverance from their state of slavery. You want a God who's reliable. Even in our lives today, consistency and dependability is important. For instance, with my car, the vehicle that I drive, one of the reasons I selected it is because I knew when I hit that start button, it's going to start every time. I don't have to worry about getting it to the shop. I don't have to worry about when I need it to go somewhere, it's not going to work. And now I have to take time out of my day, out of my week to make things right. I can depend on that to get me from point A to point B. It's reliable, it's dependable. I can count on it. It's a regular part of my day. Children, when they're coming up, they need structure in their lives. It helps give them security. And I think that's what we want in this. If we have a deity, if we're religious and spiritual at all in our lives, that gives us comfort, that stability, that reliability, to know that you can count on someone or something that's always going to be there, that has your back, that has your best interest at heart. That matters. That gives us as humans comfort.
And this was obviously very important to the enslaved people, the enslaved Africans many years ago. Um, do you have a particularly poignant example or memory that comes to mind of what you've read, the history you know of how this was critical for them at that time?
Yeah. Well, in my reading and even sometimes in movies that uh, illuminate and depict for us what it was like during that time for the enslaved community, we've seen, you'll see instances where perhaps the slave masters will make promises to the slaves for something very important. Like, for instance, if you do this for this amount of time, I promise to give you your freedom. Or say, upon my death, I'm going to put in my will that you and your family will be set free and you'll be issued freedom papers. And then it doesn't happen. Or some promise of some reward is reneged upon, or the goalpost for the conditions of said reward constantly change. That's very disappointing. It's frustrating. It can be depressing. You know, you've worked so hard to achieve this, and now it's changed. I mean, even just the fact that slaves were promised that they would be emancipated, and then they found that they couldn't leave some of them, the plantations where they lived, because the slave owner said, well, you know what? You owe me for this, that, and the other. And before you leave this land, you have to make sure that you give me money for that land that you plowed, the seed, because that wasn't your seed, that was my seed, the clothes on your back, the food that you ate. And, you know, how do you combat that? You know, so to have a God that says, no, my word is the same yesterday, today, and forever. It's unchanging. That kind of stability and reliability is so important.